He's like, yeah, you know, I just like casually left the house, saw some embers, realized that my house was about to burn down in its entirety, and you can kind of see it right behind me. The house is gone. Poof. What do you think about what Zuck said about forcing other nations to stop censoring American speech? No, they're not talking about China, Russia. They're talking about... Let's check back in on the LA fires.
And what the day will be like tomorrow.
I assume a lot of those schools will be closed. I know you had a chance to visit some of those schools today in your district. I want to show our viewers right now, Alberto, some photos you sent us. Do you have a count, first of all, on the number of schools in the LA area in your district that have actually been destroyed?
Yes. So as I said, we have 1,000 schools. The ones most impacted are the schools in the Palisades. We were able to evacuate school communities in collaboration with our remarkable first responders yesterday. But 2 elementary schools burned completely to the ground. These schools are attended by over 700 students. We're talking about Marquez Elementary and Palisades Elementary, and then a high school, Palisades Charter High School, providing educational services to over 2,000 students, sustained serious damage. In fact, when I visited, there was an ongoing fire consuming about 30% of the school. It is burning bungalows and portable classrooms, as well as athletic facilities. The old legacy building was still pretty intact, but we lost 2 schools valued at millions of dollars, and about 30% of Palisades High is being threatened as we speak. That's why we are working with Sacramento, our state leaders, our federal entities, utilizing our channels to FEMA to achieve the necessary reimbursements for the reconstruction of these sites.
Our hearts go out to all those kids and their parents. Alberto Carvalho, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for all the important work you're doing, and we'll be right back.
Kobe believed in himself at the youngest.
Always been great about getting different perspectives so that we sort of cover the waterfront of ideas and perspectives that we want to make sure are getting fed into the process.
Joe, is this, can you?
No water in the fire hydrants, no money in FEMA. This is what Joe Biden is leaving me. Thanks, Joe.
You tell the audience and the world that this is not a temporary stance. And what I mean by is this just because you got...
Wait, what is this? All right.
Fire, all the other fires. I was just discussing with my boss the other day. I was like, why did they raise my insurance? I'm not even near a fire zone, we just feel thankful and blessed and out of here. This is surreal. We left about 4 o'clock in the morning and never even expecting, and just because of a little bit of my wife's prodding, we took a little extra things that, like our pictures are all digital and stuff like that. So we were able to take all that stuff with nothing nothing of a great loss, and all our documentation we took also.
You said you left. Your houses were all standing.
Yeah, no.
You just came back in, and this is what you saw.
Right. Yeah. I have a nonchalant feeling about the whole thing, because it's like I'm looking around, nothing's happened, and just as we're leaving out the driveway, my son looked up. We saw some smoke coming over the top, and inside that smoke, we saw some embers. As much as I thought, but we had called some neighbors.
Be more chalant, bro. Be more chalant. I'm sorry. You are too nonchalant, my goat. He is the goat of nonchalance. He's like, yeah, I just like casually left the house, saw some embers, realized that my house was about to burn down in its entirety, and you can kind of see it right behind me. The house is gone. Poof. What do you think about what Zuck said about forcing other nations to stop censoring American speech? No, they're not talking about China, Russia. They're talking about... No, they're talking about Europe, chatter. They're not... they're just not. They're not gonna touch, like, first of all, what do you mean China? What Facebook exists? Does Facebook even exist in China? No, they want right-wing sentiment to thrive in Europe. That's what they care about.
Gusts 35 miles per hour, and it's those gusts that really cause concerns for the firefighters doing that incredible work in those fire zones. Hurst Fire, also those winds in that 20 mile per hour range. Again, there too, those gusts go in that 30, 35, 40 mile per hour range. They could just kind of pop up at any time, something to keep an eye on. Also, the Eden Fire, there too, we're looking at 40 mile per hour gusts, those steady winds in that 25 mile per hour range. Now, here's a great view of how those fire zones are looking. We can see the areas in the red and the purple. Those are your real areas of concern. Those are the higher wind speeds, over 40 miles per hour up around the Santa Clarita area, down towards the Malibu Hills, pushing 40 miles per hour for those wind gusts as well. We can see one small pocket of no concern, but everywhere else, again, the strong winds. And notice, too, it's that Santa Ana profile, that northeast kind of winds, bringing that warm air along with those really strong winds. Still strong tonight into tomorrow, so you have to watch all the areas of Southern California. As I mentioned, some areas going down as far as red flag concerns. So here's kind of an overall view how they're kind of starting to subside. Some good news for us. So we're looking at 20 mile per hour winds around Pacific Palisades Fire. We're going to stay right in that range till tonight, right about 11 p.m. And then tomorrow morning, look at this, thankfully, we start dropping down to single-digit wind readings for that Palisades area. In terms of the other spots, like the Eaton Fires, same kind of idea setting up. Winds are still going to be fairly strong tonight into the evening hours, but then by late tonight, early tomorrow morning, now we're back down single digits. So there is some relief as far as the winds are concerned, but this is concerned too, how dry things are. Teens
Thank God,
and
dude.
single-digit humidity readings. So this is very, very dry conditions. That's all over Southern California. No one really getting any relief, even especially on those coastal spots where you'd think you'd get more moisture in the air. Look at that, Santa Monica at 7% relative humidity. Now, as far as the air quality, that's, of course, as you might imagine, bad, especially in the fire zones. That red indicates unhealthy air for everybody. So certainly in those spots, especially, just really be careful. Take the precautions needed for you. And so these are the concerns now. So, yeah, a little relief is coming our way. But, of course, Dallas has more updates for you at 4 p.m. on ABC 7 right now. David, Ellen, yours.
This is Eyewitness News with live breaking news.
No,
what is
LA
that
County
audio?
and all 29 fire departments in our county are not prepared for this type of widespread disaster.
Everybody's just in shock right now. I don't think it's really hit anybody yet. It's just complete devastation.
We thought we were going to have the opportunity to come back to a home, and this is what we come back to.
An unprecedented natural disaster in Los Angeles County. Multiple wildfires burning at once, all of them fueled by fierce Santa Ana winds. Lives and homes have been lost. Entire neighborhoods are burned to the ground. We're working around the clock to bring you up-to-the-minute information about these fires, everything you need to know, including where exactly these fires are burning, who needs to evacuate, and how to get help. A special edition of Eyewitness News at 4 starts right now. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Ono.
And I'm Ellen Leyva. You're watching Eyewitness News at 4, live on ABC 7, Hulu, and wherever you stream. We're expecting an update from fire authorities in Pasadena at any moment. First, let's take a look at where these fires are burning right now. There are 3 big fires that we're keeping an eye on. The Palisades, which is the biggest, was the first to start yesterday as the Santa Ana winds picked up about 10:30 in the morning. Hours later, the Eaton Fire started in Altadena. 5 people have been killed in that fire, sadly. And the Palisades and Eaton Fire have burned over 25,000 acres combined. There's also the Hurst Fire in Sylmar, and that fire is holding at about 500 acres.
All right, it is sobering. It's incredible. The sight from above, when we're finally getting a glimpse of how devastating these fires are, is basically, you just can't describe it. So let's go to Chris Christie overhead in the Palisades fire right now, who is watching the firefight continue. Chris.
Yeah, David, we're back up over the Summit neighborhood in the Pacific Palisades. You're taking a live look at a new house fire. It's going to be at the end of Calle de Serra. That's going to be the 1600 block right there. That just caught on fire. But I want to help you get your bearings here as you widen out a little slowly. First of all, I want to show you how it is really a hit and miss situation along this block and in this entire neighborhood, where you have a couple houses that have been touched and some that are still standing. But this is at the end of Calle de Serra, right next to the Summit Club at Palisades Country Club, which is right there on the right side of your screen. And you could see the way this wind is blowing the fire and blowing the smoke, that entire clubhouse and neighborhoods point south of there are an imminent threat of this fire. Again, there is no structure protection in place here in this part of. We have seen some fire trucks trying to keep the fire at bay from neighbors who have been spared, but right now it is really a precarious situation here in the Summit, where there is still quite a bit of active flame and very heavy winds continuing to blow through this neighborhood, guys.
All right, Chris, thank you. We're going to check back with you as this fire continues to progress. We want to take it now to the other fire of major concern, Altadena. Sophie Flay, you're right in the middle of it last night. What's it look like today?
David, the wind is not as strong as it was last night, but it is still moving these flames quick. All around us here, we are on Lake Avenue at Topeka, where you can actually see law enforcement is shutting down this part of Lake Avenue now. They are directing traffic. We know so far that at least 11,000 acres have burned in the Eaton fire, but again, we are awaiting that press conference to get the latest numbers. We know that there is an evacuation shelter at Pasadena Civic Center, which is where that press conference is expected to take place shortly. We also know that the Pasadena Humane Society has taken in more than 100 animals, and they're actually asking people to reach out to them if they are willing to donate bowls for food and water, and also asking people to reach out if they're willing to foster a dog or a cat for at least a week. We went over to Pasadena Waldorf Private School, which unfortunately we witnessed with our own.
Ranston Stream Marathon got canceled because the Airbnb may have burned down.
Guests lined up. We've got an Airbnb. We got it decorated. We got. I'm gonna start crying because I'm getting really sad. Stop it! I'm actually gonna cry. I'm so sad. Okay, we're so excited. This is starting tomorrow. That's right. Why would you say that part? Okay, so now tell them the bad news. Now I'm gonna start crying. The bad news is the house burnt down. Okay. Okay, no.
Okay, no, but in a not joking way. The house is very, very close to burning down.
Okay, serious. On a real note. On a real note. Okay, LA's on fire. Okay, there's actually like thousands of homes being burned down right now. The air quality is hazardous. You can't go outside. There's actually a lot of people that were supposed to come today to this stream, but I was like, stay home, don't go outside. Roads are blocked. Roads are it's chaos.
I think they messed up. I think it would have been extra content to do a marathon stream in the house that is on fire. That's right. It's called initiative, chat. Missed opportunity. A Geek streamer would. Actually, I'm kind of surprised the Kick streamer hasn't. Weird sense of humor, but okay. God damn, bro. I can't even make a joke about my own backyard lit on fire. Holy moly. Motherfuckers in Ohio are getting upset at me about having gallows humor about my own backyard. Hey, man. I live here. I don't know if you know this. My grandparents had to evacuate, you know? Let me throw some fire jokes in the mix, all right? Like, you know, I know plenty of people. Naperville Andy's in the chat being like, listen, this is how dare you? How dare you, sir? Yeah, it's like when everybody knows people from Florida make jokes about, you know, water killing them. And if you live in California, you got to make jokes about fire. That's how it is. No joke, says me, from a country and area that rarely experiences these disasters. Yeah. Keep Naperville out your motherfucking mouth. I would also like to see them stream inside of a house that is on fire. Okay. Now you made it weird. Any thoughts about Karen Bass being Africa during the fires? Apparently she was in Ghana. I see a lot of people upset about that on socials, but like, how is she supposed to know that there was gonna be a, like, that part I don't understand. What, like, if you're the mayor of Los Angeles, you're never allowed to travel? If you are the mayor of Los Angeles, you're not allowed to travel because like a massively consequential natural disaster could happen. It's not like she saw the fire and flew out like Ted Cruz. You know what I mean? Like, Ted Cruz is bad because he knew that there was a massive crisis in his state and he flew away to Cancun. Karen Bass was already in Ghana. I don't know what the hell she was doing in Ghana, but it's not like she escaped to Ghana. You know?
There's rush to the scene.
Like, I think there are valid things to criticize Karen Bass on. Her hyper focus on public safety initiatives that keep giving more and more, keep funneling more and more funds to the police department. You know, mismanagement of funds in that regard is a valid thing to critique her on. Okay? But as far as like her being in Ghana while the fires were ravaging, they got you defending Karen Bass? No. You have to remember, I never defend politicians. Okay? I defend the truth. I think that there is valid criticism against Karen Bass. I am not a fan of Karen Bass. Get out of here. I despise Karen Bass. I despise all of the Democrats. Well, most of, if not all of the Democrats in California politics. Okay? What I am defending in this instance is just the truth. My dumb take is that any mayor must never leave city limits, keep them stuck there. That's kind of funny. I like that. Sure. Yeah. How was Karen Bass supposed to know that there was going to be the most consequential wildfire in California history in January? Okay? This is the time where it's not supposed to happen. We are not in wildfire season. A captain goes down the ship. Is this the environmental disaster you predicted? No.
We will not
relent. This one doesn't count.
We will heal.
I mean, it definitely counts as far as like catastrophic climate change related disaster, but my prediction happened while it had already started. I didn't know that it was going to get this bad, but I knew that it was bad already.
Next, I'll invite
Technically,
LA County
this is
Supervisor
the,
and our Supervisor, Captain Berger.
Captain Berger?
As I was standing here, one of our Altadena residents came up to me who's very active in the Rotary, and he lost his home. I'm hearing this time and time again. And as the mayor told you, we went up and took a tour, and it is surreal. It is without words that I can even explain to you what is taking place, especially in my district in Altadena, but also in the bordering area of Pasadena. My heart is heavy. But I have to say, and the mayor is absolutely correct, we met with the governor, who also met with the president, and resources, both financial, but also resources for boots on the ground, are here, and we're going to continue to fight this fight. But I would ask people, please, 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 if you don't need to be in the area, we don't need you in the area. Recognize that when we drove up there, these are fires that are actively taking place as we speak. And there were many people that don't live in the area that just wanted to go up and take a look. We have fire personnel that is fighting this blaze, not only in Altadena, but also in the Palisades area. We need you all to work with us. And to those people that want to go up and loot, the full weight of the county will. And that's going to start with the district attorney who's issuing a press release and is going to make
what
sure.
is happening? Like, what do you mean if you want to go up there and loot? Like how is that the first priority? Who's thinking about that?
Thank our first responders, who many of which have been on the line for over 24 hours. And I think it's important for us to note that the chief of the LA County Fire has asked for resources outside the state, with the goal to let them go in and begin to fight the fires so that our firefighters can take a break and then start again. But again, I want to thank our first responders, but I also want to thank our state and federal partners, Congressmember Chu, Congressman Whitesides, who represents the Santa Clarita area. It's very reassuring to know that we have an all hands on deck, both at the state and at the federal level. And we will rebuild. And to my friends out there that have lost their homes, we are here for you as we look forward to what we are going to do to help you rebuild your life. So with that, thank you.
Next, Congressmember Judy Chu.
Hello, I'm Congressmember Judy Chu, and I just got off the plane from Washington, D.C. My heart goes out to those who've lost their homes and their business.
How dare she be in Washington, D.C. when these fires were happening? Karen Bass is in Ghana. She's in Washington, D.C. What did they know?
Is causing. But I want to tell you that this morning I was on the phone with the White House and with FEMA, and President Biden has declared this a national disaster. So now the mechanics are set for people to get assistance for recovery from FEMA. And also, FEMA was asked last night by the state of California to declare this eligible for the fire management grants, and indeed it is. So all the expenses that we see for fighting this fire will be reimbursed by the federal government. And also, I've spoken to Supervisor Torres of the San Gabriel Mountains. He's asked for help from Washington, D.C. to close the forest area. So I do want to urge everybody, please stay away from the forest area. I just urge everybody to make.
Will they actually rebuild these homes? Seems like they don't build much of anything with respect to housing. Yeah, they must respect the housing market. So when fires like this happen, you must not rebuild, okay? God forbid. Please do not rebuild any additional housing, because then the existing housing prices go up even more. Okay? It is illegal to build a house. What is a house? Okay? It's the grossest thing to build. Absolutely not allowed. They should not build anything else, okay? Houses rise and fall naturally, Chad. It's just a part of the circle of life. Yeah. They don't rise naturally, but they fall naturally. And then you must never rise anything in its ashes, because God forbid you build additional units, okay? That would be terrifying for those who currently are house owners, myself included.
Grown up in the San Gabriel Valley and who have come to know and love this community. As the supervisor said, we're receiving many
At least Judy Chu is a U.S. representative, so her place of work is literally D.C. Karen Bass has one job, just to be in L.A. to conduct her mayoral duties, which she epically failed at. I think it's really funny that she was in Ghana while this happened. Like, she already epically fails at everything that she does. It's just that, like, it's additionally funny that, like, she happened to not be in LA while this occurred. Like, I am not a fan of Karen Bass. I still don't think that she's supposed to predict these things, you know?
We want to make sure that
just
you
bad
all
timing.
are taken care of, that you're taking care of your families. This is what is most important right now. It is incredibly dangerous for individuals to be up there during the time when there's fires like this. This is a very, very dangerous time. So please evacuate, get somewhere safe, make sure that your family is safe. Also, if you
Stop moralizing a policy choice. Homeowners are perfectly moral. Dude, I'm a homeowner. What are you talking about? I'm joking when I said do not build any new houses by any means, okay? This will be disruptive to the existing housing supply in a negative fashion, which is a joke.
We know right now that there's a lot of folks that are struggling to have cell service when they're up in the foothills right now. We know power lines are down, and these fires are continuing to rage on. So, the state's doing everything that it can right now to make sure that we're allocating resources. We're moving firefighters from Northern California, from Central California to come here to fight this fire. There's firefighters coming from out of state. And so resources are coming. We're going to get this thing contained. But it is going to take time, and so make sure that you're staying away, letting our public safety officers do what they need to do so that we can get this contained. Thank you.
Next, Assemblymember John Harabedian.
Thank you, Mayor Gordo. For anyone who is a believer of any faith, please, we need your prayers. We need your thoughts of healing and anything that you can do to help our community. Many of our neighbors, our loved ones, and members throughout our community lost their lives today. And we are with you. We see you, we feel you, and we are going to help you get through this. As part of the state of California, along with our federal and local officials, our main mission now is to keep people safe, minimize any further devastation, and for those of you who lost your homes, who lost your property, who lost your loved ones, we are going to help you rebuild. We're going to do everything we can to fight for you every day, now, this week, over the next couple months and years, to make sure you get your life back. And that is my promise. That is the promise of everyone behind us. But please stay diligent, heed the warnings of our public safety officers, and please stay out of harm's way. Thank you to our men and women on the front lines, our first responders. We are not out of this. It is all hands on deck, and it's going to be a long couple nights still. So thank you to everyone who's helping these efforts, and please pray for us.
Next, Superintendent of the Pasadena Unified School District, Dr. Blanco.
Good evening, and I want to echo the sentiments that our heart goes out to all of our families, our staff, our employees who have suffered losses during this devastating event. Behind me, you see the power of us, the city, the mayor, the city manager, our leader from the PCC, all came around the school district to help us provide for our families and our students. I saw many of my families here today who have lost their homes along with their staff. Thank you for being here with them, and thank you for supporting them.
I think you should laugh when you are joking. There are a lot of normies who are not autistic, Lomao. What? What does that have to do with autism? My family's all evacuated. My dad's restaurant burned down in the Palisades fire. I want to cry, but I just fucking can't anymore, man. I feel broken right now. It's going to get better, chatter, I promise. I'm sorry to hear that, though. Hasan, you missed the police doing a random show of force? What? Dude, I'm not watching this. Okay, maybe I am watching it. No, I'm not watching it. It's 58 minutes long. It's too long. Yeah, the reports of the Palisades fire has leveled up to 75% of the Palisades, according to ABC 7. Hasan, they're saying your house burnt down? No. Breaking. Streamer HasanAbi's house is fortunately burned down in the Pacific Palisades fire in LA. I mean, it's not. This stuff used to pop off way, way harder. What is this? In all seriousness, pray for all those affected. I have made a donation because of my joke. Has Hasan donated, lol? Praying for everyone out there. Wait, what? There are dudes that I don't even know exist on the planet that are just like, that are just simply speaking ill upon my name. No, if he needs a place to stay, he can stay with me, thank God. I'm sure he has multiple properties worth millions. E somehow made the fire about you. Yes, I saw. When I originally saw this tweet in the morning, I thought it was not real. I thought someone had made this. Like, I thought that someone was like making fun of Ethan. And then I found out that this is a real thing that he tweeted, or not tweeted, posted on his Instagram. Outside our window is closed, but we're safe for now. Wind is blowing away from us. Hasan for sure hoping the fire takes out my computer. I don't know what to say about this. I hope him and his family are fine. I hope their house is fine. It's just, I don't know how you stare down like a wildfire and in your mind think, I'm sure Hasan is hoping that I die or something. I don't know. That's crazy. What about their computer? I hope his computer is fine too. Yes. Ethan Clown, while his family's under the threat of evacuation or worse, can only think of Hasan and the impending video trashing Hasan that he's soon to release. I think we can all safely say Hasan is not thinking about Ethan right now. What an absolute ghoul. He's probably joking, but even though, how can you say this? No, I know he's joking. I think he's just trying to do guerrilla marketing for his fuck Hasan video that he's going to do, not realizing that this probably makes him look really bad for the uninitiated. He's just trying to promote his video, man. Don't give it any attention to this. It has 43,000 likes, man. Bro, you joked about the entire thing and somehow that doesn't make you look bad? Wait, what? What do you mean? Anyway, I hope like I said, I hope he's doing all right. Oh, it is a little bit. Yo, do you still just make shit up, then accuse you? What? Yo, do you still just make shit up, then accuse you of it? What? I don't even know what is that. Dudes will just make shit up and be mad at you for it. Oh, people really want you to be performative right now? Performative about what? Anyway, they want you to drama farm it. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I think it's a strange thing to do. But yeah, I suspect that it's like it's a way to try and get more excitement around this like inevitable content nuke about Hasan, which has existed in perpetuity. It's there's a million of them. Anyway, where were we? Oh, now let's talk about drama farming off of Wildfires, depraved, gulag, all those creatures now. I mean, let's just move on. Okay? Let's get back to what actually matters, which is what caused this wildfire to actually take place and actually occur. Now, one might think maybe it was a cigarette butt, a lit cigarette that someone tossed outside of their car. But I think TikTokers and hopefully Facebook content creators as well with the new meta policies, we will arrive at the actual truth of what truly mattered.
One caught what appears to be a fucking orb flying down through the fire and smoke in California. You can clearly see it. It goes whoop. Look like fucking Goku flying on a motherfucking cloud. A lot of talk's been going around about this fire and what started it. And nobody got answers. But like I said, this thing was caught on live TV. Two people said they seen it in real life. So my question is, what is it?
Where is the orb? Who are the multiple people? Who are the multiple people that have seen it?
Y'all tell me what the fuck this is. Look. You see that shit? Look like Goku flying through the sky.
Okay. Let's entertain this for a second. If Goku was flying through the sky to light it on fire, why is this after the fire has been lit already and has been going for hours? Was he just simply going back to light the fire again at night as well? There's much to... Wait, Jason is calling. Hello? Yo, what up? You're live.
Yo, Hasan, you busy, big bro?
Yeah, I'm live right now. What's up? What's happening?
Oh, I'm live too. Nah, I was wondering if you knew what Friday was.
What's Friday?
Friday? One of the biggest events of all Twitch and 2025.
What is it?
It's the first ever Jason and Ween concert.
Yeah? Are you going to sing Depp Guy?
Yeah, I'm gonna sing Damn God. And I was like wondering if you wanted to pull up, you know what I mean? You know, we got VIP access and I was making my VIP list and you know, I had to put you on there, Unc.
Yeah. Where is it? And what time?
It's in OC. It's in OC.
It's in OC. Okay, well, you're gonna do the podcast the night before, so
Yeah.
all right. Well, you know, I'll see if I can pull up.
Just say you hate me. Say you
No,
hate me.
I'm saying
You
I'm
hate me?
down. OC is kind of far. We might be on fire by that point.
Don't say that.
Okay, well, you know, the fire bars you're gonna be dropping. Am I right?
What the fuck? Hasan?
And what?
You leaked.
What? What did I
You're
leak?
really old. Nothing. Okay, but yeah,
What?
Friday. I better see you there.
All right.
I'm gonna be singing Damn Guy live. Everyone's been asking.
I've been asking nonstop. I'm
Everyone's
like,
literally been asking. When's the first Jason Lee concert?
I've been thinking like, when will Jason do a concert finally to do Depp Guy live?
Thank you,
Oh, I
bro.
leaked it. He's on the pod. No, I didn't. It's fine. All right.
All right. Well, I'll see you. I'll see you later. I'll see you Friday. Yeah.
I'll see you Thursday for the pod.
Oh, Thursday. Yeah, obviously I'll be there.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Good luck.
All right. Bye.
Bye. I'm old. Who is this? It's my nephew, Jason the Ween. I'm watching a press conference on the Eaton Fire, and YouTube chat spams DEI for every speaker and calling the fire chief gay. Oh, Jason immediately said, "You ain't showing P." What? I leaked that the bars will be fire. Anyway, let's get back to Goku, which we all know is responsible for why these fires started, but perhaps more importantly, why these fires continue to do fires.
I seen the slowest comment ever talk about, oh, that's just a plane trying to fight the fire. What fucking plane do y'all know that goes that close to the fucking fire and can do an angle like this through the fire like that low to the floor? I'll wait.
What do you mean? First of all, that is precisely what the
through the sky.
Like, I don't even know if this is is fake or not.
This is.
I don't know if this is fake or not, but it looks exactly like one of those firefighting planes. Like literally, that just dump water. That looks
look, you see that shit?
Exactly like a firefighting plane that dumps water over. They go dive into the water, grab the ocean water, and then fly back and fly low to the ground and dump water onto it. Now, having said that, I don't know. I don't even know if this footage is real. It's just like grainy. I don't know where it's from. Or it's a bird. Yeah, I doubt it's a bird. Do you know how large that would be? Do you know how large of a bird that would be? Don't be a sheep, bro. It's Goku. You're brainwashed by the liberal media. Okay. There's a DC-10 actively dumping water. This dude's an idiot. That's what I think as well, but it's wild. But hey, guess what, dude? It's not. Okay? It's not. You know what it is? It's Goku. Or an orb, an alien orb.
That shit look like Goku flying through the sky. Seen the slowest comment ever talk about, oh, that's just a plane trying to fight the fire. What fucking plane do y'all know that goes that close to the fucking fire and can do an angle like this through the fire like that?
I mean, that angle and that all is consistent with those planes that dump water over the fire. That not saying that what we are watching on that screen is a plane. I don't even know if it's real footage or not, but if it is, it's most likely a plane.
That low to the floor. I'll wait. Who the fuck they think they kidding? Chelsea Clinton?
Chelsea Clinton. It's far more likely it's a drone. No, it's not. No,
Y'all tell me what the fuck.
Chatters is not far more likely that it's a drone. Do you see how do you see how big it is?
Look like Goku flying.
Look how big it is. Look how big it is. Look how fast it's going. What are you saying? Could be souls. When we passed, we were able to go anywhere. I had an outer body experience while I was flying, floating, and I seen people, a woman washing clothes. She couldn't see me. I had many experience. The fire is like Lahaina, but not nearly equal to the death toll. LA have roads to evacuate. Lahaina did not. Sustained winds and low humidity will cause fires to break out. So stop the conspiracies. Oh my God. Someone speaking sense in a TikTok comment section. Look, if y'all live in SoCal, you'd know Allie Carter ain't smarter than the rest of us. We have wildfires every year. Allie Carter said there would be fires. Who's Allie Carter? I see the video you talking about, bro, and my kids see something like that goes fast, and else some moments like the sky turn blue in the nighttime. Why is mainstream news not covering the Allie Carter predictions?
That 5 people have died in this fire. Tragic.
So tragic, Giovanna. We know that 10,600 acres have burned in the Eaton fire. It's at 0% containment. And we just heard from the Pasadena fire chief saying that there are 750 firefighters working on this fire. We know that somewhere between 200 and 500 structures have been damaged or lost. And there are also mandatory evacuation orders in place right now. We are at Lake and Topeka here in Altadena. Are really trying to make sure people are heeding these evacuation orders and staying out of the roads. So,
bro, look at the Pacific Palisades from this drone shot, dude. God damn, dude, that is crazy. That is utter madness, dude. Fireflight planes do insane maneuvers. Sometimes it even goes wrong because of how risky it is. There's a clip from Greece where one crashes. It crashes behind a hill, so you don't see the direct impact. No, I'm not going to watch that right now. Hope you're safe, brother. I am safe.
And what's so surreal is look down the block. It is block after block here in this area in Altadena. I mean, there's a huge fire there, burning several houses. Any other time, there would be fire crews blocking off this entire area. But there's just too many fires, and they've just got to...
I'm not gonna lie. I think Anderson Cooper is getting cancer after this. Like, every time I see this man, he's got no mask on, okay? Like, I feel like this dude has no care for his own safety at this point.
We are, because there's so many engines tapping the grid and multiple grids, we're basically just taking all the water out of the grid.
So what do? I mean, you want to fight at these fires.
We do have water tenders, vehicles that shuttle water to us that carry 2,500 gallons of water, but again, they're stretched thin as well, so they have a lot of demand placed on them.
So on a scene like this right now, what can you do?
We are looking at houses that we can save. So things that we can do, we can clear brush away from fences, things that we can do with our hands or with tools, and we just help some homeowners get out. So first thing is rescue operations. We want you out. Houses can be replaced, all that. Lives cannot.
Lives cannot. That was just around the corner here earlier today. We're going to, I just want to show you what's happening right now. So this house, as we talked about, is burned down. The house next door has not.
It makes no sense. My man is way too rich, bro. He's a Vanderbilt. What the hell is he doing this close to the fires? Is he trying to? I feel like he's like, I'm done. I want to die. I've done too much.
Stop this house from being destroyed by this fire because embers coming. I mean, you see the flames from here licking that house. So they're trying to keep that roof wet. The captain was saying earlier, they really look at the attics. If smoke is pouring out of the attics, if the roof is on fire, if it's gotten to that point, if it gets into the attic, then the house. If they don't have enough water, then the house is going to go. Gavin Newsom was in this area.
Bro is covered in soot. Look at him, bro. He looks like one of the miners in Twin Peaks.
Just complete and utter devastation. I've been in a lot of these fires, a lot, going back to Paradise, and this approximates Paradise. It's not a numeric. It's just a feeling, sense of loss, place, belonging.
Still no containment.
No, we're at zero containment. The winds have been a little bit more favorable, as you've seen in the last few hours. So we've got the helicopters back up. We've got some fixed wing aircraft. Out on the coasts, it's a little different. It's pretty intense. We have 23 aerial assets just at the Palisades, but a lot of them are not operational.
I hate Gavin Newsom so much. He just sounds so fake, even here.
We've depleted.
I don't know why. I just like he just gives bad vibes, dude.
On Sunday. hundreds of personnel.
Well, am I
special
wrong?
units,
I
water
feel like he's
tenders,
like
dozers,
happy kind of
engines,
because he's in front of a
helicopters.
camera or
And it
something. I
wasn't
don't know what
enough.
it is.
And now we're getting the mutual aid system, the EMAC system. Governors from all across the country are calling. Oregon says, and engines in Arizona, Utah. We're just grateful for all the support.
A lot of these firefighters I was talking to on the street, they've been working, 26, 27 hours. Are they that's just going to continue? I mean, there's not enough folks here.
Yeah, I mean, we got a few thousand.
Gavin Newsom looking at all of the burning houses, licking his lip, thinking how wonderful this will be for the housing market. He's excited. Look, on mute. He's excited at the prospect of the housing markets, the housing market going up even higher than ever before. Gavin Newsom will not rest until upper middle class managers are also homeless. Do you understand? He has one goal in mind. He wants to make everyone with the exception of like mega millionaires, like 100 millionaire plus, everyone underneath the $100 million net worth line has to be homeless permanently. He loves it. This is just what it is. He enjoys it. This is his only goal in life. Okay. I'm telling you right now, nothing else.
When you have a system that's not dissimilar to what we've seen in other extraordinarily large-scale fires, whether it be pipe, electricity, or whether it just be the complete overwhelm of the system. I mean, those hydrants are typical for 2 or 3 fires, maybe 1 fire. You have something at this scale, but again, that's going to be determined by the local
authorities. Were saying part of it is the gravity, that it's these giant tanks on top of the mountains, which...
Yeah, well, they're going down. We were just with the team. They're getting the tenders down to Pasadena, filling things back up, coming back up. So it's just
our aerial assets.
They all sound like RFK Jr. because they've been just eating smoke all day, dude.
It's been up a little bit earlier, but out on the coast, it's been a little more stubborn because those winds are swirling. The challenge is, you can see that they can fly. It's not a question of turbulence or anything else. It's just the mitigation's flying all over the place. So it doesn't have any benefit necessarily. So we've got National Guard working the rattlesnake teams out there on the line. We're also trying to bring them in to supplement some of the law enforcement efforts as well. It's all hands on deck across the spectrum. The biggest thing, though, Anderson, that happened today, sincerely, and you can appreciate it in a community like this, to get that direct individual assistance with the major disaster declaration within 36 hours of this incident from the president was a game changer for this community, for small businesses, et cetera. So not that we're thinking about the next phase, but we have to be thinking concurrently about the next phase is how we rebuild this community. But right now we're in this mitigation phase. We're in the public safety phase.
I hate to even ask this question, but the president-elect chose to attack you, blame you for this.
One can't even respond to it. I mean, people are literally fleeing. People have lost their lives. Kids lost their schools. Families completely torn asunder. Churches burned down. This guy wanted to politicize it. I have a lot of thoughts, and I know what I want to say. I won't. I stood next to a president of the United States of America today, and I was proud to be with Joe Biden. And he had the backs of every single person in this community. He didn't play politics, didn't try to divide any of us.
Finally, your message to the folks here, to this community.
I mean, we have their backs, and we're going to be back. And this is going to be a long recovery process. But look, we have residents moving back into Paradise, California. I've seen remarkable recovery efforts. I've seen remarkable sense of community, purpose, resilience. So, I'm not just playing the politician role of optimism. I really am long-term optimistic. But the devastation to hear people wailing and crying, concerned about their pet, their family, they're just bewildered about what they're experiencing. And again, not just experience. I was not talking past tense. This is happening in real time. 0% containment.
That was Governor Gavin Newsom. Spoke to him about an hour ago, literally just up the block. He was out here with fire crews, talking to fire officials, trying to assess the damage, figure out next steps. I also ran into a woman just around the corner. We saw her out on her lawn with a watering can, pouring water from a watering can, trying to keep the lawn wet to save her house. Miraculously, her house is still standing. There's about 4 or 5 on that side of the street which are. And I just want you to hear from her.
Maybe 3 a.m. we heard how your phone has that terrible alert, and we just, no lights, just the lights from everybody's car, headlights in their driveways, and everybody on the street just cramming their possessions and pets and kids into cars. And then we went to my husband's sister's house, and then you can't find any new. There's no way to know if your house burned down or not. This is the best neighborhood. Everybody helps each other out. Before he left, our neighbor Brad here, he was putting out little fires on, before he felt like he just had to go, he was putting out little fires on our property, and who knows, maybe that saved our house. But that's the kind of neighborhood we have, and it's, most of it's gone now.
Especially those
I want to go to a press conference. Mayor Karen Bass, let's listen in.
Breaking for you, and we stand with you. I know the world is looking at images of our city's devastation. I have seen the front lines of the Palisades fire, and it is staggering.
Yeah, she saw it from her plane landing from Ghana.
With county, state, and federal officials. I took the fastest route back, which included being on a military plane, which facilitated our communications. So I was able to be on the phone the entire time.
Oh my gosh, he's ass covering.
We are fighting for you and everyone in Los Angeles.
Oh my God.
Thank you to our first responders who waded in the flames, pulled people from cars, and got them to safety no matter how dangerous. And thank you to everyone who heeded our warnings to evacuate. Tonight, more people may get evacuation orders, and if they do, please leave immediately. If you have an evacuation warning, get ready to go. Protect yourself and each other, and support our firefighters on the front line.
Avenue, Vista Street. It is time to evacuate now. This fire is just about 100 feet from the end of Curson Avenue, and this entire area is going to be evacuated momentarily. You saw that fire helicopter fly through the shot. It gives you a little bit of the idea of scale, because that helicopter was a dot when it flew through the foreground of that fire. This is a large fire that is spreading exponentially here in the last couple of minutes. If we can widen out a little more, you can see it now taking more of a vertical position up the canyon from top to bottom. It's spreading in multiple directions. It's moving uphill with the terrain, and you have spot fires being blown towards Hollywood. This is a fire that is literally right in the smack dab in the middle of the Hollywood Hills, due north of Hollywood Boulevard, no more than a mile off of the boulevard, and it's already spotting. Look at that, a big spot fire right there in the middle of your screen. Go ahead and push in right there.
And that spot's
big flames
growing
right there. That one spot is going to go up and grow exponentially here as we keep an eye on it, and it's going to continue to blow. These winds are going to continue to blow this fire towards the city of Hollywood. This is something we have to really watch closely here.
Okay, I have my documents and stuff.
Go ahead. Let's start getting some more of the streets, Lucas. We need to get people out of this neighborhood. We need to get people out of this neighborhood.
This is devastating to watch. We've already seen so much destruction. I just can't imagine. I can't process having another fire and another swath of homes in danger. But I just want to take a moment to announce that LA Unified Schools, all LA Unified Schools, will be closed tomorrow. So we want to get that information out there.
All right. So can we get the satellite view? Is it possible for your camera person to give us that satellite daytime view just for a second, so we get a sense of
the overlay, the overlay. Give them the overlay if you can. If not, no big deal. Yeah.
All right.
I'm sorry, Mark. It might not be available right now. I apologize. But just look at that spot fire. Look at that spot fire that sparked up 30 seconds ago, and look at the size of it now. It's over 200 feet right now. It started as a little speck. Go ahead and push right in on that fire, right there, middle of the screen. Go push right in there. That spot fire is already exponentially growing.
Wow. Yeah, it started as a pretty small spot. We all saw it erupt there, and it is growing. Let's give the street names again, if we could. Curson was one of them.
Wide now, Lucas.
And again,
Waddles Drive, Curson Avenue, Curson Place, Curson Terrace, Bonita Avenue, Hillside Avenue, Vista Street. Go ahead and push down a little bit. Just tilt down slightly.
You
so
mentioned
we can show some more
Bonita
of the
Street too. Yeah, Bonita.
Sierra Bonita, Franklin Avenue, Gardner Street, which is where the fire department is responding right now. Almost certainly they'll have LAPD going door to door here to start evacuating this neighborhood. Stanley Avenue, and Nichols Canyon Road. This whole section here between Vista Street and Nichols Canyon is under the gun right now.
And so heavily populated, so many apartments and homes very close together.
We are in the heart of Hollywood, guys. This thing is spotting and growing by the second. I can't emphasize it enough. There is no way to dramatize this. This is real and happening in real time, and it's happening fast, just in the last 10 minutes.
Excuse myself so we can go ahead and start to strategize and move towards mitigating this additional major emergency in the city. Thank you.
All right, that was Fire Chief Kristen Crowley, I think, excusing herself. It's what I believe is happening. Wow. So that she could address this fire that we're watching
The
here.
reason she knows about it is because Chris Christie spotted the glow in the sky. He was over, right? You were over the Palisades fire. You saw the glow from this one, came over to investigate, and discovered the fire.
That's exactly right. It started as a speck in the distance. We weren't even sure. My eyes, I couldn't even believe what I was looking at, to be quite honest. And as we got closer, it became very apparent because it was growing and flaring up right before our eyes. And it only took us a couple of minutes to get over here. And just in the last few minutes that we've been on the air, I can tell you it has at least quadrupled in size.
And with these winds, even though they have died down, and we've been hearing that they were scheduled to die down a little bit after 6 p.m., they are still blowing. They're still blowing. And even if it's 10, 15 miles an hour, the embers can fly and start new fires very easily, as we've already seen when you showed us that spot fire. Chris.
I'm sorry, one more time, Giovanna, I apologize.
It was not a question. I was just commenting that it is such the winds are still blowing and embers will fly, and it is just so easy. We've seen over the last couple of days how easy it is for embers to fly to different areas and start spot fires and set homes on fires. It's just a very scary situation.
That's exactly what's happening. And that's why it's already, look how close it is now to Waddles Drive. There are houses on the other side of the fire. We are now slightly on the west side, looking more towards the east, and it's already starting to encroach on the end of that street. I can't tell if SkyMap is exactly lined up. I'm trying to match those lines up with the lights in the neighborhood. I'm not sure if the power is out down there, but you can see there's a few house lights.
The fire is
near the
significant
bottom
and moving
left of the screen,
uphill with potential exposures in the next 5 to 10 minutes per incident command.
Is continuing to spot in the southerly
It's
direction.
moving in the direction of the valley. It's moving in the opposite
Chris,
direction,
really
it seems.
We want to give people in the area who
Fire
are
appears to be 10
facing
acres in the
this an idea of where
canyon
this fire
and is being pushed
so that
south
they
by
can
northern
make a plan
winds
for
10
what
minutes
they're gonna
ago,
need to do, because
but it's
they are
now
gonna
is
need to
saying
leave this
fire
area.
significant and
What we're
moving up
looking
the
at,
hill.
Basically, it's
Oh,
Waddles
wait.
Garden Park kind of is where this area is. This is Curson Avenue that you were talking about.
I have
That's
watch
the
duty,
main-
yes.
the
I'm
biggest
monitoring
street.
it from
And then
watch
Curson
duty.
Place here.
No, it's going
Waddles Drive
south.
off here to the left, Curson Place, and going down, and all down here, that's Hollywood. What we're seeing, essentially, from your position, I got to widen it out. I think I lost it. Is that
It will spread, dude. Get ready. It'll be.
blowing in the direction.
I'm ready to
of
go.
Hollywood.
I have
Due
my
south
stuff
of Where
packed.
those flames are, of course, that's Hollywood. You're talking about a lot of apartments, as we've been saying, a lot of residences, a lot of homes, and they are all kind of in the path of this fire right now.
I am
Chief of
prepared.
the fire department, Kristen Crowley, having had to excuse herself from that press conference she was dealing with in order to deal with this new fire. And we saw one drop, right? Are you seeing other resources that are arriving on scene?
I can tell you they are now attaching a number of units from all over the city, as well as the San Fernando Valley, and LA County Fire is now dispatching a number of units to help out.
Dude,
the city
that's
of
crazy.
LA. Resources are stretched so thin that they are requiring all hands on deck for this one. Anybody available is going to be heading to this fire as it's continuing. Just in the last few seconds while you were talking there, Mark, look at this thing blowing up. It is blowing up and spotting ahead of itself as the wind is literally shoving it south. I mean, these winds are still coming through here at a decent clip. I don't have an exact reading.
You don't
on the wind
understand.
speeds
Like,
up
this
here,
is
but
not
it is
what the hill
blowing
looks like.
flame
Okay,
and
the
smoke
amount of
directly
houses,
over Hollywood. I can tell
the
you in
amount
the
of
next couple
houses
of
that are
minutes,
there, the amount of
Hollywood
apartments that are
Boulevard
there is
about to be
crazy.
enveloped by that smoke. Look at that plume of smoke being blown from north to south, and the entire section of Hollywood that we're looking at here is about to be blanketed in thick smoke.
All right, we're just getting word from Dallas that the wind right now is blowing at about 15 to 20 miles an hour with gusts at 28. Is enough, certainly, to send
Hey,
embers,
I'm live.
You know.
Yeah, and we're still obviously under the red flag conditions, which we have been talking about. Those are going to stay up for at least another 24 hours. The view on the left is from our LAX camera, and the view on the right, of course, is from Air 7. Chris Christie in Air 7. Monitoring this fire that has broken out in the Hollywood Hills, just above Hollywood. It's in a canyon, a recreational area between Runyon Canyon Park and Nichols Canyon Road. And it is basically the Upper Wattles Crest Trail that kind of intersects this area. It is burning south toward Hollywood. It's burning both north toward Mulholland, driven by the terrain, and pushed by the wind south toward Hollywood. You're looking at the streets there. Sky Map is showing you the streets that are in the direct path of this fire. Curson Avenue, Curson Terrace, North Vista Street, Runyon Canyon Road, Hillside Avenue, and then down as you get into Hollywood, Franklin Avenue. Chris, what are you seeing in terms of, we saw that one helicopter from the LA, we believe it was LA City Fire, that actually made a drop earlier. What are you seeing in terms of other resources? Are you seeing police officers? Are you seeing vehicles leaving?
Mark, I can tell you, I'm going to jump in here, Chris. I can tell you County Fire was asked to join this firefight. They're sending mutual aid now. We understand Fire 1, 3, and 4 are now over the fire.
Oh, no. I'm sorry, guys. Jovan, I've got to interrupt you. Go ahead, widen out, Lucas. You've got police on Runyon Canyon Road. Go ahead, tilt over to the left, and now a new spot fire. A new spot fire starting at the end of Vista Street right there. A small little speck right now. Let's see what it does. I do not know what kind of fuel is around that fire, but we can only assume the worst.
That's it. That's where the houses are.
That little fire right there is shooting up embers at the end of Vista Street with the winds blowing in the southerly direction. That spot fire is about 100 yards away from the initial fire, 100 yards south, 100 yards closer to this neighborhood. Now only about well under a mile from Hollywood Boulevard.
What would you save in a fire, bro? Nothing, just my dog.
Right now is how a small fire can become a big fire. This is how all of these fires that we've been dealing with that are now thousands of acres in size and thousands of structures have burned. This is how they grow. Driven by the winds, pushed along.
This literally is how fast it happens, by the way. We just went from, brush fire on Runyon Canyon to everyone in this area, like 20, 30,000 people. This area is all, I'm telling you, this area is all apartments right at the ass cheeks. Right at the ass cheeks of Runyon Canyon is all apartments. Will and Caroline are most likely going to come here now. They're evacuating here, but I told them, like, we might have to evacuate as well, potentially from here if this spreads even further. I don't think so, but you never know. Bro, you going to play Marvel Rivals tonight or chat acting out again?
And watching this or getting
That's crazy. That's a crazy question to ask, dude. The answer is yes. We'll be playing Marvel Rivals right now. On Fire Edition.
For as long as this endures. But this has now spread. This fire itself is at least 50 acres as we look at this in just the last few minutes. Go ahead and widen out a little bit, and you can tell, Mark, just in the last few minutes since we first came down, you can see the size of this fire from top to bottom there, now paralleling Curson Avenue, getting closer to Sierra Bonita Avenue, closer to Hillside Avenue, closer to North Vista Street. That's where that spot fire is, just to the north of North Vista Street.
All right, and what Giovanna was trying to mention to us earlier is that the city of LA, LAFD, is asking for 15 additional engines from the valley or the city. They are just arriving on scene now.
This is so chalk. This is so unimaginably good.
In there as quickly as they can, because this is a nightmare scenario for the fire department. Is that another canyon?
It's not just any canyon either. It's like if this turns to pass through Pacific Palisades, there are a shitload more people that are right there. Curson Avenue, Curson Place. Like, this is an incredibly populated area.
starting to teeter out a little bit.
I can't just run. If people panic and run before evacuation start, then roads get clogged. Yeah, I'm not gonna like. I'm not gonna get out until I have to. But as soon as I saw the fire, I was like, I texted Will and Caroline. I was like, you need to get out right now, because they haven't actually given evacuation orders yet, mandatory evacuation orders yet here. But like, this is going to happen.
Left-hand corner of your screen, that's Hollywood Boulevard.
I'm still far away.
Chris, stand by. We're going to begin Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock right now.
It's throwing spot fires, brother. You should not feel like there's any certainty in direction or safety right now in the general vicinity. Chad, there is chatters.
I'm David Dono. The latest fire broke out a few minutes
Chatters.
ago in the Hollywood Hills.
There is miles of concrete buildings between me and this area. That's why I'm saying I'm sitting and waiting. There are not miles of concrete buildings between this fire and where some of my friends live. There's actually no buildings whatsoever. They are the concrete buildings between this fire. Okay? That's all I'm saying. I think at this point, you should probably understand that, like, I have a decent understanding of where things are in Los Angeles. We watched this happen in real time.
60 acres directly towards Hollywood Boulevard. You're looking at several of the neighborhoods that extend into the hills here, just west of Runyon Canyon Road. We're talking about Franklin, Vista Street, Curson Avenue.
Aren't there
Waddles
three
Drive.
fires? Yes, there were 3 fires. Hearst Palisades and Eaton. This is new. It's on Runyon Canyon. This just started literally 10 minutes ago. We watched it happen. We watched it start as a tiny spark into what you are looking at right now with spot fires. With spot fires going all the way down to the where people live, basically.
The left of the fire is already growing by the minute there, right there. That little candle started as a little spark and is already ripping. It's going to merge with the main fire here as this whole fire extends and parallels Curson Avenue.
The way the wind blows through those canyons, it's really a travesty to watch this, because it's just a matter of seconds as we've been watching. This fire has exploded in size, and the topography of this mountain and the hillsides, it's going to be really difficult for those people to all evacuate in an orderly manner, which is it's always a tough time.
And just to let you know, Chris, Philip in our weather department is working on a map. We're going to try to put that up as soon as it is ready. But we're going to show you the proximity of this fire and these communities that you've been talking about that could be in danger right now and may need an evacuation order. But go ahead, continue your coverage while we prepare that map.
Yeah, I'm just looking for any sign of traffic. Anybody who's looking for any sign of that. Right now, you don't see a lot. It's actually somewhat of a quiet night over here for the most part. As I look up Hollywood Boulevard, traffic is pretty light. I would love to see more people coming down and out of that neighborhood. But right now, we don't see a lot of car lights or headlights coming out of there just yet. Hard to see. It's very difficult with the sun going down. But just trying to decipher any signs of movement that we can.
Dude, that is insane.
As
that
you
is
can tell, the smoke is
nutty
already
mode.
starting to obscure our view over this section of Hollywood. Earlier, we had a perfectly clear.
This is
nighttime
Hollywood,
view
chat.
of
I'm
the
still
area
further
north of
down.
Hollywood Boulevard. You can see those house lights very clearly. Now you can see a large plume of smoke enveloping.
It's technically not West Hollywood. It's actually Hollywood.
Again, this is all happening.
To the right of where this is Hollywood. Behind it is the valley, or where it's like near the Hollywood Bowl.
Precisely Fuller Avenue. Let's say between Stanley and Fuller, this whole section needs to be evacuated. And LA City Fire is pouring everything at this fire. But as much as they are trying to get into place, right now we have seen a total of 1 water drop, maybe 2 or 3 that we didn't catch, but very
Between this fire
going on. Yes,
and the neighborhood that I live in is approximately 5 miles worth of concrete.
We're going to set that map up now. It is ready. And
But this is definitely a lot closer. I mean, and there are people who live literally right there. Like, look, you see this?
You can see it burning. That is what Air 7 has been showing you. but it's burning down the hill, and look how enormous that community is. And we'll put this up on the touchscreen map as well eventually to show you the tremendous amount of property that we're talking about, all the homes and businesses. But Hollywood and Highland is there. If anybody has been through Hollywood and Highland, which is most of you, you know how congested and populous.
This is what it looks like on the street level.
That's how close this fire is, and it's moving really quickly. So the concern is what's going to happen if this fire continues to burn down the hill and reach that very populated area of Hollywood. And this is exactly, Philip is kind of showing us the direction of the fire and who is in danger. And there are a number of different neighborhoods, homes, and streets.
All right, mandatory evacuation order is now in place.
Right now, Chris.
For Laurel Canyon Boulevard on the west, to Mulholland Drive on the north, to the 101 freeway.
A little bit of a flare-up now on the west side of the fire. You can push in right there, Lucas, and you can see a new head to this fire almost. So you've got the southern head right there. Over to the right, if you tilt over to the right, you can see another head to this fire as it creeps up this hillside here, which is just blanketed with very thick fuel.
There are probably chatters in here that are literally right next to this, like live right next to this.
You're getting a better idea of just how close this is now to Curson. Curson Avenue was the closest street when we first arrived. Now Curson Avenue is in the thick of this. What I'd like to do, Johnny, if it's possible, can we get over to the west side to see how close it's getting over to these houses? I fear that there may already be houses that are within feet of the flames here, David.
Chris, I have another map for you that we could pop up. We could even split screen it if you want inside the booth. But here's the touch screen, and this is what we're looking at. I'm going to expand out a little. This Waddles Garden Park, this is where the fire is right now. It is burning in this direction. If I expand out even further, this is Curson right here. And look at the homes that are along Curson. But let's say, hypothetically, if this fire continues to burn in this direction, which is where it's going, look at everything that's in its way from these big properties, but getting down to Curson, and then you start getting into this massive amount of a populated area. And for perspective, we talked to you about Hollywood and Highland. I'm going to move the map over. Right over here is, let me expand out a little bit more. There's Highland, and Hollywood Boulevard is right here. So the fire is here. It's burning in this direction, and all of this populated area, Hollywood Boulevard, Sunset Boulevard, Highland Avenue going up and down, all of this could be in danger. Chris, I'm going to throw it back to you.
That's right. You can see Air Resources pouring in here, trying to get water on this fire. They're going to start with the leading edge here, but that might have been just a recon flight. Not sure if you made a drop or not. I didn't see it. Did you see it, Lucas? I can't tell. But go ahead. Now that we're on the west side of this fire, you can see the distance between Curson Avenue and the closest flames here. So fortunately, the neighborhood along Curson has not yet been touched. The wind is blowing parallel to Curson, more directly towards Franklin and towards Hollywood Boulevard. So that's the main body of fire there. Let's go ahead and widen out again, Lucas, and show the proximity to Hollywood Boulevard from this angle. You're going to get a better idea of the geography here as that fire is being blown downhill through the Hollywood Hills towards Hillside Avenue, towards Gardner Street where LAFD is responding, towards Vista Street, Sierra Bonita, and ultimately Hollywood Boulevard is now no more than 3/4 of a mile, maybe only a half a mile.
That is crazy.
But it's not spreading like a normal fire. It's spreading like a Santa Ana fire because it has been spotting for the last half hour steadily.
Dry brush there, so much fuel there for it to burn. It's incredible, Chris. We're going to bring in Margaret Stewart from LA City Fire on the phone to let us know more information on this. Margaret.
Hello.
Hi there, Margaret. It's Ellen and David Ono. Yes, what can you tell us about this fire, this one that has broken out in just the last few minutes?
Yeah, so we need to get the word out to all your viewers that we have an immediate evacuation order in place in the Runyon Canyon area. So the east border is the 101 freeway, the north border is Mulholland, the west border is Laurel Canyon, and the south border is Hollywood Boulevard.
Can you say that one more time? I'm so sorry, but one more time. We're slowly writing it down, but yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. And we are working on a map as we speak, and so we'll have that up shortly. So on the right,
Chatters, calm down, okay?
Freeway,
People from right at the ass cheeks of this fire are coming here to evacuate. You're being ridiculous by telling me to evacuate right now. I'm not near it, okay? It is definitely much closer than all of the other fires, and the direction of the fire is like there. I don't know how to describe this. There are 10 miles of concrete apartments in between me and this fire.
Resources now.
You're making it seem like I'm literally on fire right now.
Before our very eyes, move very quickly.
I'm already prepared for evacuation if need be.
I'm sorry, I got you.
Please leave your house with doors unlocked.
On this particular fight, what are you putting on?
So we have over 20 additional fire engines that are en route right now and on scene. I'm sorry, this is a very dynamic situation.
Worth a try, man.
7 fire companies assigned to this incident, and we have air resources that have redirected. As we mentioned, this is obviously an explosive fire that is just blown up.
So looters do exist. Looters are gonna have a hard time when they come in here and realize that I have nothing of value, like except for cameras, I guess.
Within that box, I'll repeat it again.
Shadows be like, come on, bro, please leave. Please leave your house unlocked. It's like, what are you going to take? My Zin towers and my, toys?
To the south is Hollywood Boulevard.
And I will say to our view, go ahead.
I'm going to say we understand that this is a heavily populated area, so we ask people to grab exactly what they need to get out the door. This is not a time to delay. This is not a time to try to use a garden hose to protect your home, as we've already seen what can happen in the Palisades. We need people to swiftly, calmly, and safely exit the area.
Your PCs are pretty awesome. Okay.
Okay, head south. That's good information. Okay.
Even my 4090, which is like one of my most prized possessions, I guess technically, is now completely worthless because of the new AI-backed technology that the new GPUs came out and made it worthless. Okay, so it doesn't even matter, chatters.
We will very shortly have an interactive map that will depict the evacuation zone.
LAFD.org/news. Okay, Margaret Stewart, thank you so much from LA City Fire.
Thank you.
Wow, this is incredible. Now, I'm sorry, I might need a little help.
Don't leave your dog if you evacuate. Damn, that's crazy. I was planning on leaving her in this house fire. Thank you for letting me know not to leave literally the thing I care about as much as I care about my mom, basically. Thank you, chatter. Like, I got my mom and I got Kaya, okay? You think I would leave either of them behind? Yeah, it's like telling me not to leave my mom in the fire. He's showing only one stat and claiming that it's 4090 is kind of laughable. See, even in the process of all this, there's still a guy, there's still a tech nerd in the chat being like, we don't know.
Go out live on our air just seconds ago. There is an immediate evacuation order for this entire swath of Hollywood in the Runyon Canyon area. This is happening fast. It's happening in real time. This fire has exploded, and I mean it has exploded tenfold, at least tenfold in the last half hour. It is exploding as it makes its way towards the south, towards Hollywood.
Fast this fire has spread, and again, to reiterate Margaret Stewart saying that just take what you can, whatever you need, immediately get out. Just take your medications and just get out of the. We've seen too many times people getting stuck in these canyons and then these windy streets and not being able to get out in time.
Leave Murat. Murat can take care of himself.
Just a devastating
Murat's
sight.
not with me. Murat is also literally a volunteer firefighter. He knows how to deal with this stuff better than I do. What? Take what's your most valuable thing from home. I mean, your gold, silver, dollars, and you can go to the goddamn bunker. Kaya and mother to go in the car. I don't have any of those things. You guys have a very different view of like the lifestyle that I lead.
south and blowing that fire directly into this neighborhood. The smoke is already covering up the neighborhood. The flames are not far behind it. Push in on Vista Street, the end of Vista Street, right there at the end of Vista Street.
Also, you forget there's the Diddy tunnels, the Achterbahn that I can escape to as a multi-billionaire, an incredibly famous person. All right, well.
Large this fire is. That on your left side of your screen is a shot from our downtown camera looking at the Runyon Canyon fire. I guess it's called the Sunset Fire now, and just how fast that has grown.
I am stunned by the speed. We should expect it at this point. It shouldn't be shocking. We can only be grateful that this is starting tonight and not last night when those winds were much faster. Things have tapered off, but they've only tapered off moderately, guys. We are in a major fire danger until Friday. These winds are still blowing through here. And if you live in a flat area, or if you even live in the San Fernando Valley or areas across the basin, and you walk outside right now, it may not feel super windy. You may feel the breeze. But in these neighborhoods,
I have so much protein.
The hills alone have
I have so much protein and bottled water and like, you know, just 2 pairs of undies. Okay, that's all I need. And also my backpacks, obviously. The IRL backpacks.
Things were exceptional last night, but if you lived in the hills, they were downright scary because it felt like an actual hurricane moving through the area in the middle of the night. Right now, things have tapered off, but you can see the direction.
Don't worry, Trump will come throw a paper towel. Nice.
Smoke in a lateral direction from the north to the south, directly into the city of Hollywood. As I look out now, go ahead and wide out now. You can see a lot more traffic forming on Hollywood Boulevard to the right side, Lucas. You can see Hollywood Boulevard coming up.
Hey, pictures of expensive stuff for insurance? I don't have anything expensive.
Starting to make their way through here, but I think they are kind of
except for my car.
Onlookers that are trying to catch a glimpse because they're stunned about what they see as they look up into the hillside here. Those roads need to be used by evacuees and fire crews to get into this neighborhood and start fighting this fire somehow, some way.
Yeah, on the best of days, those streets are crowded and congested anyway. So
you should learn about autophagy and protein. Maybe you learned that as long as the energy is adequate, protein is another way you've been brainwashed. Dude, I could literally be on fire in the car, driving away from the fire behind me, and there would be a chatter being like, actually, I think you need to really reevaluate everything that you've learned about, you know, diets. It's true. Chatters will never. You know what? Respect, dude. You're a lot less spendy than I thought, to be honest. Respect is on. Like, first of all, even if I had a bunch of expensive possessions, why would I tell you on stream? But think.
All right, Chris. We're gonna
also, if I had like a shit ton of expensive things, like if I had so many expensive things, like why I spend all of my time in front of the camera.
As soon as possible.
You would have seen it by now. You know what I mean? Like people always talk about my jewelry. It's nothing. You know what I mean? It's like this.
Open it up just a little bit. That's where the fire is currently burning in this direction. This is the canyon it's in. This is Hollywood Boulevard, right down here. Sorry about that. Let me move it up. This is Hollywood Boulevard.
What about your clothes?
It comes right along here. That is the south side of the evacuation zone. So everything above it is being evacuated. Let me expand out a little bit more, move it over a little bit more. Laurel Canyon, which is right here. This is Laurel Canyon. That is the western edge of the evacuation zone, so anything on this side of the Laurel Canyon. And then if we get to the top, Mulholland Drive, which is right over here. So it's basically this area right here. So I know this is a little bit complicated, but let me just...
I think that's one of the best ways to not get robbed in general is just to not own anything of value.
Achilles Drive, Willow Glen, and then Nichols Canyon, Waddles Drive, and then all the way to
For fun though, if you had to save one piece of clothing, what would it be? I don't know.
Boulevard. So this whole strip of homes right here. Look at all of these homes that you're talking about that should be evacuated. And if they haven't heard about the evacuation and you somebody lives there, get a hold.
I ain't going no day. This bitch must be the loser. Now she thinks she perfect.
Uh-oh.
Evacuate now. Look at this fire. Look. It's over our hill right now. It's on the other side of the hill. This is on the other side of the hill right now.
Let me get through Twitter first. This shit on purpose.
He's like, yo, line my shit up, dude. I took the dreads out. My hairline is suffering. I need to line my shit up first, okay? The fire can wait. All right, got another notification from Watch Duty. Evacuation order level 3, go. Laurel Canyon Boulevard on the west, to Mulholland Drive on the north, the 101 freeway on the east, down to Hollywood Boulevard on the south. Los Angeles Fire Department has officially sent a level 3 immediate evacuation order. No, not for us, Mom. For you know, the area where it's far. It'll be all right. I hope. You never know, you know?
Drier when normally at night the humidity goes up a little bit, but that is not happening in this situation. So this fire, driven by terrain, of course, initially, as Chris noted, starts moving up the hillside, but then those winds come over the top of the hills, out of the north and northeast, driving the fire toward the south. Red flag warnings are going to stay with us. When you look at the wind profiles right now, they're pretty much as we thought they would be this time yesterday.
Lily Peach was evacuated,
but it's still a Santa Ana wind blowing through those canyon passes. You can see Santa Clarita there at 25, not 45, thank goodness. Up in Pasadena, they've dropped off to about 10 miles per hour in the city. And of course, no wind down in the South Bay of any significance. But even in the Palisades, we're getting 15 to occasional pulse winds up to about 30. Now, where the winds are really howling tonight, stronger because they're closer to that area of low pressure, are out in the IE. Look at the winds being recorded right now. Out at San Bernardino, we saw wind gusts of 45. Their humidity, 14%. Also through the canyons.
Dude, this is hell on earth.
County,
it's crazy.
We're still seeing winds up there, 25, 35, even 45 miles per hour. Humidities again at about 10, 15%. Here's kind of an overall view of how dry the air can be.
We don't know how
canyons.
this one started, chat. We don't know.
That's at Burbank Airport, and as I mentioned, 8% up in the canyon. Really, really dry.
Yeah, this is when it first started 20 minutes ago.
For a Santa Ana
now
event,
it's
the
this.
winds are blowing from the landmass, the continent, out to sea, so you don't get any moisture from the ocean at all.
Dude, there are a lot of people. I'm gonna tell you right now, a lot of people that you know live in this area. Okay. A lot of influencers that you know live around this fire, like very close to this fire. You will, you know.
And it looks like
that's the Sunset Fire, the Runyon one.
I hope I'm not in error about that, but it looks like that's the name they're giving it, is the Sunset Fire, Chris.
You are correct. It is now the Sunset Fire, and it is getting closer and closer to this neighborhood along Vista Street, just north of Franklin Avenue. Fire helicopters flying through the shot here, and I'm paying particular attention to that brand
I'm
new
monitoring
spot
it
fire.
actively. I'm not even in the secondary evac zone yet, okay?
Anyways, but that's a brand new spark that just happened a moment ago. That means those embers are indeed flying through the canyon in the southerly direction.
What's up, brother?
Towards
How you
Hollywood
doing?
Boulevard.
You good? You got
and the
out?
fire leapfrog itself closer and closer to these homes. Fortunately, at this juncture, we have not seen any homes or structures touched. but we are mere minutes away unless they can put out that spot fire and kill the leading edge of this fire. And even that will only delay things because you have large flare-ups like the one near the top of your screen right there. See that big flare-up right there, guys? That is creating a huge amount of embers that are continuing to blow through here and continue to creep south towards Hollywood Boulevard.
And you can see how fast that wind is going. As you can see that smoke just going south very quickly.
I know it's difficult to see because it's dark there, but how close to homes are you right now, Chris, when it comes to the flames?
No more than 100 feet. No more than 100 feet there. Less than 100 feet if you live along Vista Street. If you live along Vista Street, there are house lights in the shot, and there is fire practically in the backyard.
Okay.
Right there, that's a new spot fire, literally in somebody's backyard, I think, as it continues to spot ahead of itself. 2 spot fires. You see that tree on the left and a new tree or shrub or whatever on fire now on the right. Again, the embers are continuing to create new fires little by little by little. In fact, is there a flame on Vista? Is that a headlight or is that a city? That might be a house light. Okay, that's just a house light. But you can get an idea of the proximity to those houses now that this fire is getting closer and closer.
Chris, traffic-wise, are you seeing any kind of strings of cars trying to get out of there, or I worry the word is not getting out that they need to leave?
I worry about the same thing, David. I don't see any traffic coming from this neighborhood. Hollywood Boulevard is now suddenly coming to a standstill, and you can see why, because basically people are catching wind of what's going on here. They're driving through Hollywood, and all of a sudden they're in a cloud of smoke and catching a glimpse of the bright fire up on the hillside here. So that's Hollywood Boulevard on the right-hand side of your screen. Lots of brake lights, lots of headlights as fire crews try and make their way through here. The one good thing here is that we're seeing more helicopters arrive on scene, and we are seeing more water drops. But look at all those flashing lights. Those are all fire trucks making their way into the neighborhood and hopefully getting into position. I presume, even though it's dark and we can't see this very clearly, I presume they're already in the process of trying to set up for structure protection in the neighborhood just north of Hollywood Boulevard. Now, the evacuation order, as I understand it, extends to the south up to Hollywood Boulevard. That's for now. If this neighborhood catches on fire, expect that to grow. And I mean, if this becomes an urban fire in the middle of Hollywood, you know, God help us, but this evacuation area could grow and could grow in short order, like within the hour. So let's keep a close eye on this and see how they do protecting these homes right here. But once these embers start flying into that neighborhood right there between Sierra Bonita Avenue, Hillside Avenue, and Vista Street along Franklin Avenue, just north of Hollywood Boulevard, then we have real problems. We'll see. It's getting closer by the minute.
Showing on the left side of the screen the traffic on Hollywood Boulevard, and you can see the palm trees there really blowing there. So we could give you just an indication of those winds are still very strong. We do have a point of origin that CAL FIRE is talking about. It's a 2,300 block of Solar Drive in Hollywood Hills, and that acreage right now, they're saying 19.8. Of course, it's been growing as we watch, so it's more than that, of course.
And Ellen, I have actually
a new spot fire right there in the middle of your screen. A new spot fire getting closer to Runyon Canyon, where fire crews are now manning Runyon Canyon Road. There's a new fire right there that's grown pretty quickly and is now getting closer to Runyon Canyon. What I'm looking for, guys, is for that fire to jump Runyon Canyon Road based on the direction of the winds here. The winds are blowing that smoke and fire in this direction towards our shot here, and we will see if they can keep this fire from jumping Runyon Canyon Road, but it's going to be very difficult with those embers flying through the air.
Right. Okay, so we know where this fire at least was reported. This is Solar Drive right here. This one street, I'm going to expand it out a little bit further. And the reason why I'm showing you that, the point of origin, 2300 Solar Drive, that could have been where somebody spotted it and reported it, or it could have been where it started. But this is Solar Drive, okay? So now I'm going to kind of push out you a better idea. So this is the point of origin. And then we're showing this fire went all the way down this canyon, and now all of this is on fire. As Chris was just saying, Runyon Runyon Canyon is in trouble right over here. All of this is now on fire, and this is a matter of minutes we're talking about as it continues to go in this direction south. So for some reason, it started right there. Ellen, I'm going to throw it back to you.
All right, we got to tell everybody that we're going to stay on the air here on KBC7 or ABC7 and not go to World News tonight with David Muir because of the nature of this breaking news. So you can stick around and we'll find out more about this fire that is rapidly growing. And so we want to keep a close eye on this, of course.
All right, Ellen, thanks. And we're going to stay on top of our coverage digitally.
On the air until 7.
On the air until 7 o'clock.
Even that's growing.
We continue, and let's throw it back over to Chris Christie with more as this fire continues to spread towards Runyon Canyon Drive.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the further the fire continues to spread southward, so does that smoke, and you can already see it more and more by the minute. A lot of that thick black smoke now drifting right over the Hollywood area. This entire area is now being blanketed by really thick and unhealthy smoke. Obviously, it is time to get out. If you live anywhere in this area, you can take a look at Hollywood Boulevard along the left side of your screen here. Lots of traffic starting to build up there, and even on Franklin Avenue, as those are more than likely evacuees. Those are probably folks already trying to get out of here.
Yes.
Some of it is passed through traffic. Some people use Franklin Avenue as a shortcut through Hollywood.
It's complete gridlock
Island.
already.
But you can see traffic up and down Franklin Avenue is now bumper to bumper as folks try and flee away from this fire. Camino Palmero Street and Franklin Avenue is the closest major intersection to this fire. Vista Street is the closest known residential street to this fire. And I actually see a little bit of a flare-up on the other side as well. Go ahead and widen out for me, Lucas. Widen out and push into the top right-hand corner now of the fire. That's going to be the end of Carson Avenue, where I want to focus just for a second to see if there's any structures that are being threatened here. We're going to come around here. You can see some of the houses at the end of the neighborhood we've been talking about here. We're going to get a better glimpse as we come around the north side. So now we're on the north side of the fire, on the San Fernando Valley side, over Mulholland Drive, looking south with the fire and wind blowing away from Air 7. And right along the right side, as we come around this ridgeline, you're going to see Carson Avenue, and we'll see if there's any sign whatsoever. It looks like the wind is actually helping these folks. It's reaching the top of the ridgeline right there, and then it would have to go downhill, which is not convenient for the fire, right? Everything's blowing in the other direction, and fire likes to go uphill. So the folks along Carson Avenue have the luxury of being below the fire instead of above the fire. So Carson Avenue on the right there is down the hill from that flare.
Did Will make it to my house? No, you would see him if he made it to my house. He's literally stuck in traffic right now. He's stuck in a goddamn jam as these fires are getting closer and closer to their place.
From somebody's backyard. Go ahead and widen out a little bit. You can see a home right there. Let's go ahead and throw up go ahead and throw me the parcel. Show me the parcel, Lucas. We want to get some addresses out there. It's going to be
Hollywood is of course bumper to bumper. Look at this.
Carson Avenue here along the 2000 block of Carson. You can see the home 1984 Carson Avenue with fire.
FaceTime him for some content? No, I'm not going to do that, you freak.
Okay, so I've been able to isolate Carson Avenue here on our touch screen as well. You can see where the fire is burning in this canyon here. This is Carson. This is the street that Chris is talking about, and you can see all the sizable homes that are along Carson Avenue as the fire continues to creep towards these homes right here. These are the ones in imminent danger right now, but as that fire rolls in different directions, of course, danger as well. As you can see, highly populated. The further the fire goes down the canyon, the more homes that are going to be in trouble. Chris, I'm going to throw it back to you as you watch this fires progress.
Yeah, we're going to continue to kind of wrap ourselves around this, watching it spot not only to the south now, but also spotting a little bit over towards the west. So we're going to keep an eye on Carson Avenue, but I think the focus here still remains on Hillside Avenue, Vista Street, and Franklin Avenue right there. That neighborhood on the right is now under threat by that fire on the left because the wind is blowing.
Okay, of course, man, of course. Oh, I got a shitty camera, bro.
There ain't no way he's doing a meet and greet right now. Are you serious?
Yeah. All right, bro. Bye.
I'll see you.
Take care, brother.
Thank you.
Where is he crazy.
Yeah, my house is burning down.
Bro. Oh, he's in. Okay. He's fine because he's not near the fire. His house is near the fire. Okay. I was worried. I thought he was like, it didn't look like he's passing out flyers for his concert. Phase Boys are still in the house. Yeah. He's passing out flyers for his concert. But that's the
fire that is on the move very, very quickly, a brand new fire, and they're trying to get as many resources on that as possible.
Yeah, this is one of those areas that we know would be prone during these kind of storm events. But again, this area is so highly populated. I'm curious to see when we're going to start seeing that mass exodus trying to get down Laurel Canyon or in the Cahuenga neighborhood area where they have to get down, because there's really only 2 arteries outside of this area. They're going to have to go Laurel Canyon, or they're going to have to go down to get to Cahuenga. But again, this is one of those areas that there are so many homes dotted along this area. This is exactly what none of these homeowners want to see. But again, at least it's right now in the brush. And we do know that LA County Fire, they've also been asked to join in this firefight. But again, you can see this. Thank goodness the winds seem like they're slightly calmed down compared to what we were seeing hours earlier, when, you know, the flames would start and then they would be horizontal.
I already have all my important things packed up. I have a passport and protein and water.
I'm not sure. Again, I know you've noticed earlier to see,
and also a bunch of batteries.
Cars making their way through this area. I'm just curious, because we know how heavily populated this area is. I don't see a huge amount of traffic, or maybe just so high up.
Don't forget the Zins. Yeah, I mean, the Zins are right here. Bro, if there were 80-mile winds right now, I'd be a little bit more worried about my situation. I'm still worried about my friends that are near the fire and trying to leave.
Blocking Hollywood Boulevard. So it's really difficult, if not impossible, to get through here. And if they don't already, I would imagine there's somebody down
All my friends are texting me like, bro, are we cooked? Are we dead? Are we gone? What's happening?
Prevent access to the neighborhood. I encountered that last night when I was driving up to the Hearst fire in Sylmar. But right now, it looks like you see some traffic now. That's a good sign right there. Those are folks along Camino Palmero Street that are...
I can't wait for the Waymos to malfunction in the middle of all of this and create massive traffic jams, by the way. Get ready for those situations to occur too. Everybody told me, Hasan, you're wrong. Waymos are sick. Waymos are the future. Guess what, dude? You're way more likely to experience traffic jams when you got artificial intelligence robots on the freaking roads. Don't bring that into existence. It's called foresight.
What we're talking about now, I'm going to expand out. The color's going to go away so you can more clearly see the homes that are in trouble. And as we expand out, this is where the fire is. And then you see Outpost. You see Runyon Canyon right here, Nichols Canyon right over here, Jupiter Drive and Hercules right over here. All of that, if you live in this area, you need to get out. Willow Glen, Carmen Crest, Cahuenga Boulevard, even parts of Cahuenga Boulevard are being evacuated, but the fire is heading in this direction towards Hollywood, this being Hollywood Boulevard. And as I'm going to expand out again, and you can see the tremendous amount of people that live and work right here in Hollywood Boulevard. This is where the fire department is staging structure protection right now and trying to get as many people or units involved in this firefight as possible. Now, let me point this out because I'm getting some texts and emails as I'm going to shrink it a little bit. This is the fire area we're talking about. Now, if you live north, like towards the valley here, towards Toluca Lake, towards Burbank, you're okay because the fire is going in this direction. It's not going north. It's this area south of the fire that is in trouble. The hills right now of Hollywood and just south of the hills, that's the area that we're most concerned with right now as this firefight is well underway. Colleen, I'll throw it back over to you.
Yeah, David, we're taking a very good look at that map. Is really helpful to kind of give an idea of where this fire is located, because we know the Hollywood Hills, they are very congested, and that's the luxury and the wonderful thing about living in the Hollywood Hills. You can see Hollywood Boulevard right there. You can see all those cars. It seems like, you know, fire officials have been saying, please stay off the roads unless you need to. Be on the roads, and this is one of the reasons why. You never know where a fire could pop up, and then you have evacuees trying to get out as quickly as possible. I'm not sure how many people in this area decided to be proactive and get their ready, set, go plan in place. But again, this is one of those areas where I'm always concerned about. I know many of us have lived in these areas. A lot of us currently live in this area. It's very close to everything, and that's why this area is very congested with a lot of homes. But again, Runyon Canyon, we all enjoy Runyon Canyon, and you can see Runyon Canyon right there is on fire, and it's wonderful to see the air support allowed to help in this firefight this evening, because we were not so fortunate last night to have air support. And yes, Chris, actually, we do see your sky map on, which is great to see. I know I can hear you ever so slightly, Chris, but we're looking at the manual.
These are some of the evacuation now underway because of this Sunset Fire. We just want to highlight some key areas. If you live near Laurel Canyon Boulevard to the 101 freeway, Mulholland Drive to Hollywood Boulevard, those are the borders of the evacuation zone. It's largely around the canyons, up in the hills, and then south towards Hollywood Boulevard. That's the area we're talking about. If you live, in those hills particularly, that's where there's a lot of fuel, and that's where this fire broke out, and it's consuming property really quickly. Although, if we can check back in with Chris, to this moment, though, you haven't seen any buildings on fire yet.
No buildings that we have observed, but there are now two major flare-ups. There's one in the foreground here, right there in the center of your screen, and if you tilt up just a little bit, Lucas, you can see on the other side of the ridgeline, there's another flare-up on the backside, on the other side of that ridgeline. Those tall flames are what really create the most danger, because that is creating embers that are already flying at a higher altitude than lower shrubbery and things like that. So you have really tall flames starting to flare up as the fire encounters some thicker brush. Hopefully these people have some degree of brush clearance, but in these winds it really doesn't matter. I can only say that, again, thankfully, if this was 24 hours ago, we would already be in trouble. Now they have a little bit more time to prepare to get out, and the fire department has a little bit more time to try and get in front of it. But it is a wait-and-see game at this hour.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris, we are going to be talking on the phone with Phil Mercado. Phil, we understand you are being evacuated right now. Where do you live in this area that is in the evacuation zone?
We are just off of Kherson Avenue, north of Hollywood Boulevard.
How did you find out about this and how quickly did you have to react?
Well, the crazy thing is my husband and I have 3 kids, and I was out with 2 of them, and we were on our way home, and a friend over in Nichols Canyon called us and asked if we got the warning to evacuate because she saw a fire on the hill across. And so I called my husband and our son, who they heard some helicopters, but they thought it was L.A. They didn't think anything of it. And I told them that they had to evacuate.
Yeah. And were you at all, when you saw the Santa Ana wind event about to happen over the last few days of monitoring it, did you at all put together a ready, set, go plan or have any bag or anything? Or is this one of those things where, you know, many of us live in this community and then you kind of just hope that nothing happens?
It was a little bit of both. You know, we just knew that we needed, you know, laptops and phones and some personal stuff that we kind of had at the ready, and we backed all of our cars in case we had to make a speedy exit. And, you know, I thought actually through the evening we would probably have to do it just because the winds were so crazy. But luckily nothing happened last night. And unfortunately now it's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is a brand spanking new fire that we were hoping wouldn't happen. We have enough to deal with, obviously. When I'm assuming you then got out and you're safe right now. And what was that experience like getting out? Did you run into traffic? Is the rest of your community responding?
Yeah, so, you know, we're all on a good community WhatsApp up here in Crescent Canyon, and everybody, it was just basically blowing up and telling everybody to get out. And, you know, I was a couple of blocks from home when I got the call from our friend. So I was able to see the fire, which is crazy. We got our pets, we took our cars out, and we evacuated.
Thank goodness. And you have a place to go?
We do.
Okay. And by the way, that does beg the question. We don't know if there's an evacuation center set up yet for the folks in this community. As soon as we get that information, we'll, of course, turn it over to you. But the first and foremost, they're trying to fight this fire. What if this fire is not contained soon? What are we going to lose up in the hills where you live?
Well, you know, sadly, it's fairly concentrated, and, you know, we are perched down here at Ogden and Sunset right now. So we
I'm good here where I'm at.
Pretty good view, and you can see the planes dropping.
But I might go and pick up Will in a second. I haven't figured it out yet.
All of a sudden, you'll see some other areas that, you know, spark up again. So sadly, our street, which is right off of North Crescent, they were dropping water on our neighbor's house, so I'm sure our house is affected by this. And you can basically see all of Runyon Canyon just glowing right now.
No kidding. That's so eerie to see. What about the weather where in your area? Are you feeling the winds kicking up in this area? We know how sometimes night comes, the winds kick up, and you know these areas, they take on their own weather as well.
It seems like the winds really did pick up. I mean, this afternoon, things seemed to calm down, and then the moment the sun was starting to set, it came up, and it's pretty windy right now and chilly.
And how are your kids responding right now? Being
well, they're resilient teens, and they are all surviving because they have their devices, and they're checking in with all of their friends that are asking if we're okay. And so they seem to be doing okay. And you know, we keep telling them that as long as we're all okay, it's just stuff. So we're you know, as long as we have each other, we're okay.
Amen. One last question for you.
Sure.
Did you live in that? Have you lived in that home very long?
Since 1997.
Oh, wow.
And this is the second time that we've had to evacuate. There was a small fire up above us years ago, but easily contained, nothing like this whatsoever.
Wow. Well, I'm sure there's lifelong memories in that home. Hopefully you'll stay safe. Phil Mercado, thank you so much for talking to us. It's really been a wealth of information.
If I go pick up Will.
Perfect. Have a great night.
And Caroline, I'm not going to pick them up from their house, where obviously I can't go there because they can't get out of there.
Situation going on right now, and
I'm going to pick them up from
those winds and how powerful they are.
If I do go pick them up, I'm going to go pick them up from.
The good news is they eventually will. Right now, though,
like a place where they're walking.
Set up here. Our weather producer Phil Wilburn really keeping an eye on these things for us. So the Hollywood fire here, the one we're talking about right now. At the moment, we're seeing the wind still in that double-digit range, although in the lower end of that, 11, 10 miles per hour through the next few hours tonight. We head towards midnight. Now we're knocking it down to single digits, 4, 2 miles per hour. These are those winds that kind of come through, but those gusts that come up, those are the ones you really worry about. As Chrissy's been showing us, that fire can move very quickly because those winds, the gusts pick up, grab those embers and move them to other spots and start yet another fire. These spot fires that go. So we're seeing that going on that way. So, for example, we're showing you the wind showing up right here around that area. We're seeing the northeast winds, 15 miles per hour. Again, that double-digit range I told you. And then the gusts that show up in that 25-mile-per-hour range. And you can see right there, there's that Hollywood Highland area, the much-populated Hollywood area. So that's going to be an area of concern to watch out for. So there's that fire zone, as we've been showing you. There's those winds going from that northeast profile and that true Santa Ana look that pushes everything towards the south and southwest, right towards that very, very populated area here. So we're seeing that's why the major concern is this thing is essentially
not to have
doubled in size. When Chris first found it, it was like 10 acres or so. Now I think we're pushing around that 20-acre range, so we're still seeing that. And then there again, the Palisades fire. Same kind of idea. Again, those winds come out of the north-northeast, blowing towards the south. There, too, the winds are quite strong. The Hearst fire also 20-mile-per-hour winds with those heavier gusts as well. So we're seeing those fires all still very active and still very concerned. Hence, that red flag won't in effect now until Friday in most spots. So, David, Colleen, we're seeing more of this, and we're tracking it continuously throughout the nighttime, of course.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Danny. Let's talk about our team of eyewitness news reporters. They are fanning out following these fires. Let's go to Tim Caputo. Tim, you are in Hollywood. Where exactly are you located? And obviously, we see a lot of cars behind you.
By the way, there is an 8-second delay for Tim, so bear with us while we throw to him, and he'll kick it in just a few seconds. Go ahead, Tim.
Yes. Yeah, cell phone service has been spotty, especially in the hardest hit areas. We're on Franklin Avenue. If you know this area, you know this street gets particularly busy, but nothing quite like this. Because of the evacuations, this road is absolutely smacked with cars practically in every direction. As we were coming in from the Glendale area, you could barely get up the street here, and now you have all these cars heading out. And you could see why over my shoulder there. We're obviously on the ground level and looking up into Runyon Canyon. You could see the smoke, obviously, and the fire glow in the night sky right now. And obviously, from this vantage point, a whole lot of people are seeing that and figuring out where to go from here. We actually spoke with a young man just maybe 2 minutes ago coming down the stairs of this apartment with 2 suitcases and a couple backpacks, and he said, I got the evacuation and I just had to get out of here. He didn't even really have a plan from this point. He just figured he needed to get away from here. Obviously, folks who have been watching for the last 2 days or so, seeing the Palisades, seeing Altadena, Pasadena, not really thinking, oh, we're in harm's way. Everything changed in an instant in the last 20, 30 minutes, hour or so. As you see behind me, that seems to be coming down the canyon. Now, the wind is obviously blowing it away from where we are right now. We're at Outpost, kind of near Sycamore. Outpost goes all the way up to Mulholland, and you can get to kind of where that fire is, but it seems to be moving in a more kind of west direction. So this particular area might not be specifically at risk, but I'll tell you, for the folks who are grabbing their luggage, for the folks who are getting in their cars, they don't care if it's a little bit that way, because if this is even remotely at risk, they are getting out of this area. And you see behind me all this traffic coming up and down the street. A lot of these folks, and there are hotels over here as well. We've seen a handful of people grabbing all their luggage. One guy told me he was checking out early because he just needed to get out of here, and rightfully so. We'll look to the left here in front of the hotel. You have a number of people who are kind of grabbing their luggage, grabbing their things, and leaving here. As we look down Franklin towards Highland, it is completely packed with cars trying to get out of here. That's why you're even seeing cars essentially take every single route they can out of here, because if you're trying to get to Highland to get out of Dodge that way, it is packed, it is slow moving. So we have all these people essentially trying to get out of here because of the fire. And even if you're not looking right at the fire, you could actually see the glow coming off the smoke as you look up into Runyon Canyon. And if you know the area as well, it's not just homes here. While there are a lot of homes as you get up into the hills, these are a lot of apartments, meaning it's an awful lot of people. So once they get in their cars and they start moving out of here, you have this big influx of people getting into their vehicles and trying to leave. And that's why you have all these traffic jams here in Hollywood of people trying to get essentially any direction away from Runyon Canyon. It is slow moving, but certainly people grabbing their things and going. They're heeding those warnings. They're doing it early, but it's obviously going to take a long time for those folks.
All right, Tim, thank you. Monitor the situation. A lot is going on, and we want to check back with you because that is tremendous, that traffic to get out of there. I'm worried about the gridlock and folks eventually panicking. We don't know. We don't want to happen today what happened yesterday when folks just decided to leave their cars. That would be a disaster, especially in Hollywood. Monitor the situation. We'll get back to you. One quick note. We might have said this before.
Evacuation zones have been issued.
Is canceling all classes
No,
tomorrow,
we're not even in the
January
secondary
9th,
evacuation zone.
because of the fire danger throughout Southern
Evacuation
California,
zones have been issued.
So if you have a
The
child
secondary
in LA
evacuation
USD,
zones
you
have
will not go to
expanded.
school tomorrow, and they are waiting. They will determine tomorrow on whether or not you are going to go to class on Friday. In the meantime, we do have a phone interview for you.
Yeah, with Hervé Levy, the general manager of Magic Castle. And thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Levy. Let's talk about it. You're really right in the area where the evacuation zone is happening, and you are right on Franklin. What are you seeing from your vantage point?
So it is a very scary situation here. We have been prepared to evacuate, for the last hour or two, and we also have a couple of people to try to water down the roof of the castle. The fire is definitely a fast-moving fire, and we are very worried that it's going all direction. We can tell that it's very close, maybe like a mile or so. If I believe what I see right here.
Were you having any shows taking place tonight? This is a really beloved landmark of Los Angeles. Everybody wants to go and see all the magicians there. Did you have a show and a dinner scheduled for this evening?
Well, luckily, because of the fires on the Pasadena, we decided to close the castle earlier today. Make sure everyone, the staff specifically, to be safe. So we closed down, and we left the castle sometime this afternoon, and we found out later on that we had a new fire popping by. So it was definitely unfortunate, but it was definitely fortunate that the castle was already closed.
I'm amazed that you guys already closed it. So you have people there right now trying to put some water on the castle. What's the status of that situation right now from people who who are at the castle?
So we had a few security officers and a director of facility that is on site right now. I know it's trying to give a few directions to the security guards and make sure that we get enough moisture on the roof, but also on the greenery around the castle. Obviously, with the evacuation process, we don't want to stay too long, and I'm going to be asking the staff to move very soon, but we wanted to make sure that at least, we try to do something to save the castle.
Why didn't they stop the fire with their magic? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And David Ono, you
All right,
have
let's check where
the
Will
Magic
is.
Castle right there on that touch screen to give people an idea of exactly where
we are all
this
good.
iconic LA landmark is.
Yeah, if we have 2 seconds, I did isolate
Caroline
the Magic
just called me.
Castle. It is right here on Franklin Boulevard. And well, let's first go to Chris Christie. Well, oh, here we go. So here's the Magic Castle right here, Franklin Boulevard. This is what he's talking about. And if I expand out a little bit, then you could see this is right in the center of the evacuation zone. Here's where the fire is right over here. So as he said, it's very, very close. This is the spot of Magic Castle. This is where the fire is burning down the canyon right now. So yeah, very much this iconic landmark is in danger right now. And let's go over to Chris Christie, who is continuing to watch the progress of this fire. Chris?
Yeah, you're a firefighter. Yeah, David, we're just, I'm sorry, we're doing a couple things at once here. You got a whole bunch of fire trucks now making their way up Curson Avenue, a welcome sight for the residents who live in this neighborhood. Hopefully they have evacuated or were not home, but now these firefighters can start protecting those structures if this fire continues to spread to the west. In the meantime, we're more focused at the moment to the south as the fire, the leading edge of this fire, is continuing to create spot fires, albeit not at the same pace as it was about an hour ago. I'm losing track of time, but you can see that the forward progress is slowing. It has not stopped. There are new fires starting as we speak. In fact, that patch of trees right there near the bottom of your screen, that's a brand new fire, and it is even closer to Vista Street and closer to Franklin Avenue.
All right,
However,
Chad.
If you look at
I'm going to get in the car. I'm going to go pick him up. You'll see me in a brief moment when I'm on the way there, okay?
The smoke blowing, but not exactly at the same clip as a little bit earlier. And maybe that is helping out the situation.